Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a meal prep for you. I did some more parfaits, so you're going to see that. I also did a couple of different lunch items for my little lunch boxes here. So I have some pinwheels and then some turkey wraps. So if you want to see how I made these, just keep on watching and I will have everything linked down below in the description box. First thing I'm going to do is get this turkey bacon into the oven because I need my oven later on for a couple other items. So this needs to go into the oven at 400 degrees and I cook it for about 10 minutes and it comes out perfect. This is one of my favorite turkey bacons. I get it at Fred Meyer, which is also a Kroger store. It's their Simple Truth brand. I just think it tastes really good. It just has a super good flavor, and the Simple Truth brand tends to be really good ingredients and pretty high quality stuff. So I'm gonna get this ready, put it on my sheet pan here, throw it in the oven, and then we'll move on to my next couple of things I need to work on. I am going to be making a broccoli soup later in the week, so I am also going to be having some carrot sticks and celery with some dips that I just bought. So I thought I would just go ahead and just cut up the celery and the carrots that I need for my soup, and also cut up the sticks that I need for my dipping sauce. And I love to use regular carrots. I should say regular. I love to use whole carrots for dipping. I just feel like whole carrots have a much better flavor than baby cut carrots. Baby cut carrots are nice for convenience, but if you have not done these whole carrots, they just have, just to me, a lot better flavor. So try it. It is kind of a pain to peel them and cut them up, but once it's all done, it's definitely worth it. So now this is ready to go for my dinner and then also for my snacks for the week. I decided to make another granola this week. This time I'm doing a little bit different. So I have some of this Chalk Zero syrup. I'm using a 1/4 cup of that. I'm going to put it in this little bowl, heat it up in the microwave for about 30 seconds so it's nice and liquefied. Then I'm going to be adding in a 1/2 cup of this organic pumpkin to the syrup once it's already been in the microwave for a little bit and it's nice and runny. So of course it's going to be a pumpkin spice granola if you haven't figured that out yet. So I'm just going to mix these two things together here until the syrup and the pumpkin are all nice. I should have used a larger bowl, of course, but hindsight always always wins. So in my large bowl here, I'm putting in 3 cups of granola. Last week I did 5 cups and I had quite a bit of granola left over, but so it does last for a couple weeks on your counter, so that was no big deal. But anyway, I'm doing 3 cups of granola this time, adding in also a 1/2 cup of this shredded coconut. Make sure you get the unsweetened kind unless you want the sweetened kind, but of course that has sugar in it. So I just adding in a 1/2 cup of this unsweetened shredded coconut. And then I'm going to be adding in a 1/2 cup of these pumpkin seeds. They're already roasted, already all that stuff done for you. So I have a 1/2 cup of that. And then I'm just going to add in a little bit of salt because, salt kind of cuts the sweetness of the maple syrup. I'm going to be adding in about 2 teaspoons of this pumpkin pie spice. I guess I never measure my spice, but about 2 teaspoons. And then now we're going to add in that pumpkin puree and the syrup. So you want to go ahead and mix that up really well. I actually ended up mixing it with my hands after I shut off the camera just because it seemed to be like not wanting to mix around as well as like the peanut butter did in last week's granola. So if it doesn't work when you're mixing around, just use your hands. Believe me, that works much better. You can really get a good mix on it. Now, because this has pumpkin in it, it has a lot more moisture to it, and I like my granola to be, nice and crispy. So I am going to cook this on a higher heat, and that's what this recipe, actually, the recipe that I'll be linking down below, that's what it suggested as well, was to do a higher heat because of that moisture in the pumpkin. So we have our oven set at 325, and we are going to cook it for 20 minutes. And then what I'll do after 20 minutes, and this did not say this in the recipe, but this is how I prefer to do my granola. So after I let it cook for 20 minutes, I'm going to kind of flip it around a little bit, just kind of break it up a little bit so all sides of it gets nice and toasty. And then I'm going to put it back in there for another 15 minutes. And then that way we make sure all the moisture is out of it and all the oats are nice and toasty. I highly suggest using parchment paper and not those Silpats for the granola. It just seems to work so much better with the parchment paper. And then what I usually do when I'm done to pour it into my mason jar, I just have to lift up the parchment paper and just make kind of like a little funnel out of it, and it goes perfectly in my mason jar. So there's a little tip for you. Next up, I am going to be having some sweet potato, like avocado sweet potato toast with egg on it. So what is that? avocado, egg, sweet potato toast. That's what I'll be having. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel the sweet potato and then I'm going to cut it into like little toasts. Now I tried doing this on camera, but honestly, you guys, like I almost cut myself so many times because this sweet potato was so hard to cut. It just was not a very good shape to be making toasts out of it. But, you know, do your best, be careful. So I finally got my kind of equivalent of toasts, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it with some of this avocado spray. I'm going to cook this at the same time as the granola just so I can, you know, do two things at one time. I'm also going to be sprinkling on some of the onion salt from Trader Joe's. You guys know I'm obsessed with this stuff, so I'm going to go and sprinkle some of that on there. And then this will be going into that 325-degree oven, and what I'll do is after 20 minutes, I'm going to flip them over and then cook them for another 15. And you guys will see this. Watch my daily what I eat videos, and then you can see how I'm going to have this. But this just kind of takes, since I have to kind of grab and go in the mornings, this gives me a chance to, this is already pre-cooked, so all I have to do is just heat it up. I might just toast it up a little bit on each side in a pan, cook my egg, add my avocado, and there we go. But stay tuned for that next week and you'll see how I utilize these. But this is not a new thing for me. I used to eat these all the time. So if you are an OG watcher, you guys know that sweet potato toast has been in my life for a few years, and it's just been a long time since I've had it. Next up, we are going to make some pinwheels. So I have some whipped cream cheese here. I like to use the whipped cream cheese because it has less calories, plus it's so much easier to deal with. I don't have to, like, you know, let it come to room temperature. I have some pesto here left over. So I have 6 ounces of cream cheese in my little bowl there, and I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of pesto. Pesto has a lot of calories in it, but it is so flavorful and so good, and you don't have to use a lot. A little goes a long ways. So 2 tablespoons with this 6 ounces of cream cheese was just enough that I needed. So I'm just going to mix that up really well, and you can see here it's all mixed up. So much flavor. Oh my goodness, you guys. So I have some baby spinach here. I have some tomorrow wraps. These are the white ones, 60 calories, 5 net carbs. And then I have some turkey breast. This actually would be a pretty good low carb, keto friendly thing. Reduced fat provolone cheese. And so first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our tortilla and we're going to take about a tablespoon of that cream cheese pesto mixture, and we're going to swirl it all around on your tortilla, and you want to kind of get it to the edge, and you want to leave one of the edges kind of open, and you'll see why. So when we wrap it up, the cream cheese kind of acts as a glue on there when you roll them up. And then we're going to add on some spinach. Now I'm going to leave kind of like a quarter of this tortilla kind of open again to kind of to have that kind of glue area, and to, you know, that way all your fillings doesn't fall out and all that stuff. So we're going to add on some spinach. I like to use spinach rather than any other kind of lettuces because spinach really holds up well in meal prep because it has like that thicker texture on it. So it's, you know, it's a lot better than using like shredded lettuce or even romaine or anything. It just holds up really, really well. Like these will hold up all week. Your lettuce will not get soggy at all. So I'm adding 1 piece of that turkey breast, which this is also from Kroger, the Simple Truth brand. This is such good turkey breast. I absolutely love it. And then I'm taking 1 slice of that provolone cheese, just kind of tearing it in half a little bit. And then we're going to roll it up. And you'll see here that I did not roll up the right side because I did not have my glue with my cream cheese, but I did add a little bit on there so I could glue it up, as you see right there. So I just added a little bit on there so I could kind of glue it up. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up the rest of these. I'm somewhere in the middle, try to find myself again, but life is one big riddle of the future and what's been. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to... I put my turkey roll-ups in the refrigerator before I cut them up, so while we're doing that, we're going to put together our other snack that's going to go along with, or my other lunch that's going to go with my roll-ups. So I have a piece of that turkey breast, I put a piece of that turkey bacon, some tomato, some spinach, again, use spinach, and I'm going to use a little bit of this light mayo, and I'm just going to roll it up. Now, these did not work out as well as I wanted them to, but, you know, they're still going to taste good. Nothing can stop me in the night, like I'm leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I And here are my finished lunch boxes. So I have one of those BLT wraps, and then I took one full of the tortilla roll-ups and I cut them into little pinwheels, and perfection. This is going to be such a great lunch. I'm doing the parfaits same as last week. Fruit on the bottom, yogurt, fruit, granola, yogurt, fruit, granola. So I'm using an equivalent of 1 cup of yogurt, a half of a cup of granola, and a quarter of a cup of the fruit. And here are my finished parfaits. I'm just doing 3 this week for myself. I did make some for my son as well. But I'm having 3 of these, and then I'll have my sweet potato toast avocado egg thingy twice this week. So that is everything, you guys. I will have all the recipes linked down below. And thank you guys, as always, for taking time out of your day to watch my video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.